Maggie and I are out for our evening walk. We just went to visit the goats that you can hear and see in the background. They're way out here in their electric fence in the far pastures, digging up a whole bunch of weeds and things for us. They're doing really, really good. As you can see, this was the last place their field was before I moved it over there. They've done the middle, well, they did the middle section there before that. So they are doing really, really good at chewing down the weeds and the snowberry bush and everything in this field. So they'll improve its hayfield potential because there's a lot of groundwater and it stays green for a lot of the season. So I'm really looking forward to having a better quality grass coming out here every time we want to hay it, so, or even just graze it. Anyway, Maggie and I are going to continue our evening walk out here. It's beautiful. It's been rainy for the last week or so. Tonight it's warm and humid, but it's pretty comfortable overall. So let's see if we turn this way. Maggie is laying around over there in the grass. She found an old bone to chew on. And we are going to go up. Let's see, there's a little trail goes up into the bush here. And I think that's where we're going to go today. Yeah, up into there. That's where we're going to go. Up over the hill. See what we can see from those viewpoints, because it's just an area we don't get into as often as others. So we'll get back on here and do some updates with whatever I find up there. I'm sure we'll find some wild strawberry. I don't know how close to berries they are. They should be getting pretty close. I know I found a Saskatoon out here somewhere last year, and a currant bush as well. So I'm going to check on them, make sure they're not being chewed on by the cattle and stuff too much, or the deer, and maybe we can look at putting some fence around them someday soon, or transplanting them to the home yard. But hey, Maggie, are we ready for a walk? You gonna bring your bone? Atta girl. Okay, on with the walk. Just look at these beautiful wild strawberries here. Maggie's chewing on grass and stuff. These are, look at the size of them. The leaves on these are almost like tame ones. Usually the wild ones stay so tiny. But, oh yeah, lots of little berries in there. Lots of little runners leading off there, planting new plants. More down there. They are just thick as thieves this year. Everywhere I look, I'm finding so many wild strawberry plants. So now I just have to hope that I catch them when the berries show up and ripen before all the animals eat them. Because I'm really, really hoping to get a good feed on these things this year. I'm going to have to keep a closer look on this little bush right here. To me, it looks just like Huckleberry. I have no blossoms or berries to go on this one right now. But I'm going to keep an eye on it because I didn't know we could get that here. But if we do have huckleberries here, I will be thrilled. Now I know it's surrounded with snowberry and poplar, but the leaves are definitely different on this little plant. So wouldn't that be fabulous if I had myself a little grove of huckleberry in this hidden corner? And here's another little treasure. This is a wild rose. Look at those pretty little pink blossoms. There's even one blooming way down here in the grasses. Pretty little wild rose. See, the yellow stamens in the middle. They're just such a beautiful bright color. They produce the rose hips and a good healthy little plant. You know, the top is all branched out and trying to regrow. Their cattle or deer or something's been munching on that. But it's struggling to make it and put out some beautiful little flowers for us. Maggie, you all out of breath? Puffing and panting here? Oh, look at that view. Isn't it amazing? Look at this. That is chokecherry, all in bloom. We had lots and lots and lots of little berries on that this year. They're bitter and tiny and no good for eating fresh, but man, did they make good jelly and pancake syrup. I can't wait for them to ripen. I'll be out here trying to get a few buckets full before the birds get them. Okay, so I got up closer to that chokecherry bush, and there are a lot more chokecherry trees down by the house, so that will be easy to get our fill of those. But look at this here, all through here, there too, is currant bush. There's another big bushy branch of it down there. So we do have currants here, coming up with a couple of little red berries right there. Look at that. And they're in the middle of a whole bunch of weeds and bushes and rock. So I don't think the animals will be chewing on them too much. So that's good to know. But I knew I'd spotted a currant bush out here somewhere, but now I've found it again. It's the wonderful problem with having a large piece of land is that you can't always remember where you found things. Maggie down there, weaving through the grass. She's looking for gophers. Such a happy dog out here running free all the time. And not far away, find another nice big healthy currant bush. Look at this guy. Yeah, like that. Little berries all over the place. Isn't that a beautiful sight? These are just gifts from the land when nature just kind of picks up what people have left laying around and gives it a whole new place to take root. And yeah. There's a happy dog. Oh, look at here. Oh, we just hiked down into this little, well, I was hiking up top there. I came down this hill, and this are absolutely loaded Saskatoon berry trees. Look at that. Isn't that amazing? More delicious bounty from nature right in our own backyard. Isn't it great? Well, if that was a huckleberry that I found on that far field, then I have a whole lot more over here. I'd just taken for granted that most of these little outcroppings were snowberry, but these leaves are really triggering some memories from childhood, so I'm going to have to keep a close eye on these and see when they start flowering and getting berries, and then we'll know for sure. I will check it out very carefully, of course, because you never eat what you're not sure of. But if these are huckleberries, then I have a heck of a lot of them. How cool is that? Another warning here that you can't eat everything you find. We have had some really fabulous, amazing, unique mushrooms. That one's nothing special, but there's been some great big ones and some really unique ones with all this extra rain we've been getting. So someday maybe I'll learn mushrooms, but for now I haven't got a clue when they're safe, so that's something we just don't touch. Wow, here are some fabulous fungus. Great big giant mushrooms. It's like 4 of them in here that are all 6, 8, 10 inches across. Massive mushrooms brought to us by all these wonderful spring rains we got this year. Now they're hidden in the thistles. And it looks like there was another one there that went bad already. But yeah, they are coming up big and lush. Now we can't eat these because we don't know our way around wild mushrooms, so better safe than sorry. If you touch them, wash your hands, and yeah, just appreciate all the cool stuff that's out in nature. Now these are young mullein plants. Melon is a biennial, they call it, which means it'll come up like this in year 1. In year 2, it'll shoot a straight up stem with yellow flowers on top that can go over 6 feet tall. This is leftovers one from last year, so it's all dried out and fallen apart. But I'll see if I can find you a new tall one that's up this year. But yeah, mullein is another plant that many people consider useful and healing, and I'll leave that up to you to look up the information yourself and decide whether it's something you need or not. Without proper information, there's a lot of things that I will tell you what they are, but I just can't recommend them without proper knowledge attached. Is starting to sprout up into a tall center stalk. You can see there. So that one will be tall this year with the big bunches of yellow flowers on top. And I guess it's a little too early in the year to find you anything bigger for now on that one. Now this plant right here, which I have a lot of all over the place, this one is wormwood, which is traditionally the stuff they make absinthe liqueurs out of. But you have to do that carefully because there's some harmful substance in it that apparently you have to be able to remove. So I don't know how to tell you the instructions for that. So all I use it for is a natural smudge for keeping mosquitoes away and such. So it's got a very sagey smell to it when you burn it. So I dry it in bundles, and yeah, it's really, really nice for that. Now this plant right here is yarrow. It's going to come out with big umbrellas of white flowers on the top and these very ferny leaves on it. Now this one is one that I like the smell of for smudging around the house for a natural air freshener. Also helps keep the mosquitoes off if you're out around the campfire. And apparently it's really good for a lot of healthy tonics and everything else. But again, don't try those things without proper information. I cannot give you proper information, so please do your own research before trying these things. There we go. Maggie likes it. She's eating some grass out of the middle of it. It's a very fragrant smelling plant. Yeah. Here's another healthy little plant. This one right here, you can see it's got silvery dust under the leaves that you can rub off on your fingers. And specific shapes to the leaves. This is lamb's quarter, often confused with pigweed, but lamb's quarter is a really, really good natural wild spinach. You can eat it fresh, you can steam it, you can throw it in salads, stir fries. It's really good any way you want it, and it is best used when it's young and tender. So again, there you go, lamb's quarter, free nature's spinach. Here, I've brought you out to visit one of my wild catnip patches. Now the dry stuff here is part of what went to seed last year. These ones right here are catnip or catmint. And over here, you can make tea out of that. You can let the cats play with it. There's a few more little plants in here, but it's nowhere near as populated as it was last year. We'll see if it brings itself back to life as the season goes on. I'm not really sure. I don't remember its growing cycle, whether it does better or worse in the later part of the summer. But this is, it's got a hose running through there that feeds the cattle trough down below from the wells. So yeah, that's my catnip. And here's some well-developed mullein plants. These are second-year plants. they're growing taller rather than staying the short little ground level starbursts. So yeah, they will grow taller and taller until we get a big stalk of yellow flowers right up on top, probably about 4 to 6 feet tall. Anyway, those are used for many different things by different people, but I will again leave you to do your own research rather than try to give you advice on how to use some of these wild plants. While they are known to be beneficial by a lot of people, they're also something that you should not use without proper information. And here I'll introduce you to another one of my lovely patches of stinging nettle. Now I'm totally amazed with how much the cattle are eating the tops off of them. They usually don't seem to like them much because they do give you a burn when you touch them. There's a few in here going to seed, a lot getting large. For cooking them up like a spinach green, you want to harvest the small tender young shoots, just the top 2 or 3 inches of them. But for these you could still pick the leaves and use them as a tea, or even dice them up in stir fries, dehydrate them to add back into soups later, all that kind of thing. But the tender young shoots, you know, for fresh cooking are still the best way to go. Beautiful plant, I believe, is a wild comfrey, also known as knitbone, I believe, for its healing properties. You can make salves out of it and things. It's got these beautiful coral-colored flowers trying to get ready to bloom out here. And the leaves do have a bit of a fuzzy, itchy texture to them. So rubbing them on your skin will get you a counter-irritant effect for sore muscles, joints, things that need healing, help you bring circulation to the area. Not always comfortable, but definitely useful in its own way. Again, do your own research. Make sure you know what you're doing with any of these wild plants. Well, here's one I almost overlooked. This right here is burdock. Now, not generally liked by a lot of people, hikers and horse owners and things like that, because it's the one that produces those burrs with all the little hooks on them that get caught in your horse's manes and your dog's tails and all that kind of thing and make a real mess. This does tend to get to be about a 3 to 5 foot tall bush with lots of branches of those little burrs, and when it goes to seed, there's little seeds in those burrs it's like that scatter in a lot of directions. But the great big root that is hard to dig is supposed to be really medicinal. There are uses for the leaves, for the seeds, for many different things. I couldn't tell you the particulars. Again, it's one of those things where, you know, I sound like a broken record, I'm sure, but don't use wild plants and alternative medicines without doing your own proper research and using carefully. But again, that's burdock. Fancy little thing. Okay, now I want to show you something that I think was really cool. I found some wild rhubarb. Now these are teeny little plants with teeny little stems, not large at all, but trying to grow vigorously in spite of being trampled around here by the cows a lot. See? Isn't that neat? Definitely not as large as your garden variety, but I'm going to see if I can dig some up and pamper them in my own garden and see if they're going to gain any size or not. Or, yeah, there's these ones over here. They've been getting trampled pretty badly, but let's see, a little bit larger, a little more recognizable as rhubarb in the stem and leaf shape that you can see here. But yeah, again, we'll see if I can put some in my own garden and make more use of them. Hey, it's starting to get quite late. You can see this hill here and the trees behind it. The goats are way over the hill behind that. We explored up and down the other sides of these hills and down in the valleys after we left the goat's pen. So hopefully you've got a little more appreciation for this wonderful space I'm trying to share with you. And yeah, keep looking for edible wild plants. There's lots of good stuff out there, but make sure you know what you're eating before you eat it. It's always better safe than sorry. While the bounty is out there, you've got to know what it is, because if it's not going to help you, it just might hurt you.